My name is Sue Elias, and I am the Executive Director of Moveable Feast. Moveable Feast was started in 1989 as a response to the AIDS pandemic. It was started by a group of people who wanted to make sure that people living with HIV and AIDS did not go hungry, and in fact, were delivered fresh meals by people who cared for them. We have since expanded the services that we provide to include other disease states such as cancer, people in hospice, people living with kidney disease, people living with diabetes. And we deliver those meals directly to people because they have a need for food. They are living at that intersection of food insecurity and chronic illness. We serve Baltimore City, the 5 surrounding counties, and the entire Eastern Shore. We produce and package all of our meals right here in Baltimore in our production facility. And as I said, we deliver them directly to people who need them. We deliver them the right food at the right time, right where it's needed. And we combine our medically tailored meals. So these are meals that are designed specifically for people's medical conditions with medical nutrition therapy, so that they are counseled by registered dietitians who provide the people we serve, our clients, with specific information on how to use food as medicine so that food is a part of their health and well-being. I have a love of food. I have always enjoyed healthy, delicious food. And I do believe that every person deserves the right to the food that keeps them healthy. And so coming to Moveable Feast just actually last year in June of 2020 as the executive director was a perfect fit for me because of Moveable Feast's focus on engaging the community through volunteers. The adjustments that we needed to make when the pandemic started were significant, but the good news is that we were right where we needed to be. So we came together as an organization during a pandemic. And so we were there in March of 2020 to meet the needs of people who are particularly vulnerable. And so we never missed a meal delivery during the pandemic. We continued our delivery of frozen meals. We did it through contactless delivery so that our drivers were able to make deliveries to all of our locations, to all of our counties, but to do so without having to enter in people's homes or make direct contact. I'm very happy to say that we've been able to reintroduce volunteers under very strict safety protocols so that we have been able to increase the number of people involved in packaging our meals and reintroduce some of things like our favorite recipes. And then, of course, the need for our meals has grown during the pandemic. Certainly people with chronic illnesses are very vulnerable and needed to be careful. They couldn't go to places like grocery stores. The greatest accomplishment that Moveable Feast, and I think the other organizations like ours across the country, is making that transition from serving people with HIV who are food insecure. And then as the landscape of HIV changed and the population aged, there was an acknowledgement that people with other chronic illnesses deserved the same type of services, especially for home delivered, medically tailored meals. And so adapting in the last 10 to 15 years to be able to serve additional populations while keeping true to our roots of that direct care for vulnerable populations, and particularly the LGBTQ plus community and people who were experiencing and continue to experience the effects of HIV. We've experienced, I think, the toughest year and a half the organization has probably ever faced since the pandemic started. And what has kept us going is really the commitment and the passion of the people who work here and the long-term supporters of Moveable Feast. There really is a compassionate community that comes together to feed people, fight disease, and foster hope. And so when the need was great for our services, people stepped in and provided emergency funding. When we didn't quite understand COVID-19 or how it was transmitted, our drivers were still out delivering to our clients. Our staff were coming into the kitchen and putting in safety precautions, but making sure the food got delivered. And then, of course, our clients, as partners with us, they were expressing their gratitude, understanding changes that we had to make and the flexibility that we asked of them, so that we could all continue to ensure that our food was delivered, that people, their food insecurity needs were not met, and they received healthy food when they needed it most. So I think that has really been the remarkable part of the last year and a half, that although there have been extreme challenges, that the community once again has risen to the occasion like they did 32 years ago to meet a need and respond with compassion and dedication in order to ensure that people are not suffering in Maryland. Baltimore is an amazing city, and it certainly has just a great committed population. And why it would need a boost, I think everyone needs a boost during COVID. We all need to be looking out, particularly for those who are the most vulnerable among us, and identify those places where people might fall through the cracks, where their basic human needs might not be met. And so that is certainly true in Baltimore. And that is where resources truly are needed because of systemic injustice. And so that's why we're very glad to be committed to the city of Baltimore, as well as the surrounding areas, and looking at solutions to build on the strengths of Baltimore as a city, and looking at what additional resources and focus and innovation can provide at a time when everyone has needed a boost.